Hello, welcome back to the channel. In today's review video, I will be reviewing the Divine Dog Wisdom Cards by Randy Crutcher, Crutcher, last name, and Barb Horn, Horn, designed by Teresa Shishim, Shishim. Okay, so these were a gift, but I do believe they were bought on Amazon. They come in this really nice quality box, pull-apart box. Oops. Pull-apart box and solid color inside. Let's see what the back has to say. And this is the back of the cards. Dogs reflect the truth in our hearts and reveal our wisdom within. A dog's honesty teaches us about life as they are naturally forgiving, joyful, loyal, and present. That's all true. I have two of them. Divine Dog Wisdom Cards are designed to inspire and delight you while offering meaningful guidance for your day and your life. 62 unique cards portray universal themes such as passion, purpose, balance, cooperation, and more. This deck offers users a fun, yet deeply insightful and stunningly beautiful work of the heart. It's by Enlighten Up, LLC. So while we're on the subject of dogs, I just want to say, please do consider making a tax-deductible donation to your local no-kill shelter, or you can also drop off supplies. They are always in need of food, towels, things like that. I just wanted to mention it. And yes, I am putting my money where my mouth is. I have made some donations this year. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to sit here and pat myself on the back or anything. Just trying to put it out there that if you're interested in these cards and you love dogs, then maybe consider making a tax-deductible donation. Moving on. So the cards are glossy. They are pretty average size, although I'll say they're just a tad bit bigger than normal decks. I can't quite get a good grip on them this way, so I probably will shuffle them vertically instead. So if you have smaller hands, these might be a little tricky, but of course you can always shuffle either vertically like this, or you can simply shuffle by doing this. Everyone's got their own way. Speaking of, let's just do something different, and we'll just take the first five cards. Oh, this is a decent amount of writing. I'm going to do the first three. So this is the guidebook. Really, really nice quality. I mean, fantastic. And you even get color photos, which I love. I mean, most guidebooks are in black and white, which is totally fine. But this is glossy pages and colored photos. Really, really nice. This is the second edition. It's also won the Product of the Year by Visionary Awards. So that's a little label right here to let you know. We dedicate this book to these dogs. So those are the dogs that the book is dedicated to, which is really nice. Table of contents, introduction to your cards, who's using the cards and where, how to work with the Divine deck, asking a question, clearing your cards, picking cards, reading the cards, card for a day, 3 card pulls, pendulum, that's interesting. Don't usually see that in the guidebooks. Working with shadow energies, that's really nice that they include that. Using your cards with a journal, and then it goes right into the card meanings. Okay, so again, this is the back. And they're not numbered, but they are in alphabetical order. So when you're looking at your guidebook, this one says Harmony, get on key. So let's see what it has to say for that. So we have, if you fetch this card, very clever, It means you're needing to see and feel again the natural order of things in the midst of seeming chaos. Well, that makes sense. And know that your play is a vital part in that howling chorus of people, places, and things we call life. If there is a discord in some aspect of your life now, disharmony in a relationship, frustration with work, or denial of your need for rest, peace, fun, and stability in the midst of ongoing drama, pandemic, it's time to bring yourself back. I'm not even sure if you're allowed to say that anymore on YouTube. I don't know. It's time to bring yourself back into the balance and harmony with your truest self and passion. Musical harmony is the combination of simultaneously sounded notes to produce chords and chord progressions that have a pleasing effect. If you're not a musician, you know when things seem off key and you're not hitting. Even if you're not a musician, you know when things are off key, all the notes that would produce for you the most pleasing effect or sense of wholeness. You can sense you're not progressing in some important way. Your life feels untethered or out of bounds. Harmony does not mean giving in to others' whims, always chasing their squirrels and losing the scent of your own essence in the process. Balance does not mean struggling to maintain a constant juggling act in which you're left pawing in the air while the balls drop. There will always be balls to drop. Kind of like juggling. I'm taking it. That's kind of like what they mean. Seeking harmony, or, how you toss a ball to a dog. Seeking harmony is less about doing and more about being, perhaps beginning with stopping to listen for notes within yourself that have been drowned out for a while. It may be that when you do finally pay attention to these frequencies again and really hear them, the lost chord will ring out into the darkness or on the most daunting wilderness. Then you can know that ultimately all is well, all is whole in the underlying harmony of the universe that supports you and your part in it. Another bone to chew on. So it's another little paragraph down here. Is there something in your life you need to let go of now in order to gain more peace and harmony? Is there a missing note that if added would really enrich you and perhaps others? Take some time to write down what you can release and then release it, or write down those things that you are missing and develop a step-by-step plan to make steady progress towards bringing more of them into your life. Then you'll be singing with a chorus and playing with a full band in your everyday life. And once again, I meant to show you some cards while I'm reading, but sometimes it's hard to read, focus on that, and be doing the cards. Take a look at a couple here. Guilt, turn off the alarm. So let's see. Oh, that's the page right before that one. So we have, if you fetch this card, it means you become aware that you haven't done the right thing regarding something you've done or failed to do. Uh-oh. Okay. Whether the action or harm done was real or perceived, you now have the sense that you've broken some rules, maybe your own. Perhaps you blindly followed a scent, nose to the ground, that led to decisions and actions for which you are now remorseful. But whatever it is, something is out of alignment between your values and your actions. Guilt is associated with emotions that result from several breeds of thought. It can stem from thoughts about doing the wrong thing, not doing enough, having something, or having more than someone else, or making someone do something against their will, among other things. Guilt is one of the feelings that sets off a useful alarm or sounds a whistle that lets you know you're off track from being your true self. Maybe you're convinced you actually caused harm to another or did something wrong. Perhaps you took another's bone or said you'd give them yours, then kept it for yourself. It's normal to feel guilty about that disconnection from yourself and others. Guilt can show you exactly where to make changes or have more compassion and forgiveness for yourself and others. But there's danger in wallowing in muddy pools of guilt. It's time to take inventory real or perceived transgressions that result in feeling guilty. In other words, let yourself off the leash of guilt by first questioning the thoughts or story you have created about what you did and the impact it had on others. No reason to keep endlessly punishing yourself if you discover there was, in fact, no harm done. Write down your guilt story, then check the evidence to see if it would hold up in court. I feel guilty about fill in the blank. If you do find that the harm was real, make amends by apologizing to yourself and or others. Promise to stop doing what caused your guilty feeling and to do more of what feels in alignment with your true self. In this way, you'll turn off the helpful alarm of guilt instead of merely putting it on snooze. Then you'll know you're barking up the right tree and doing the right thing. Okay, I'll do one more page because these pages are pretty lengthy. And lust, well, that's not the one that came up. Arrogance, okay. I turned to the lust page already once. You know what? We'll go ahead and we'll check it out. So lust, gotta have it. If you fetch this card, it may be that you're suddenly smitten with a person, place, or thing you've just sighted or sniffed. When you have no idea why, but you have put all else aside when overcome by the frenzy and of elevated feelings of attraction. That shiny object with luster may have grabbed you by the tail and twirled you around and around, and you may have been there before, but you now insist this time is different. Really? Contrary to the vestiges of Victorianism, with its false modesty, there really is nothing wicked or inherently wrong with lust. Although our commercially sexualized culture keeps many of us dazzled and enthralled, that idea of forbidden fruit or kibble may heighten feelings of attraction, but this animal-like phenomenon, driven pull toward something or someone, can actually be fuel for a longer burning fire, a long-term desire to be fulfilled. It may be the ignition for whatever is to follow. The caution is not to confuse the usually short-term feelings of lust with the sudden delivery of the answer to your doggy dreams. Yes, lust is the guise of love at first sight can be real, but often it isn't. It doesn't pan out, and it's not truly what you want or need. Rather, it's a temporary fix, perhaps even an obsession or addiction, covering up what your soul is truly howling for. Let me get this face. Oh, poor thing. It says, lust does not put legs under a genuine search for that which will feed you most truly and deeply. That requires greater discernment, more thinking, and a slower dance than lust may have patience for. Another bone to chew on. Sometimes it may be okay to follow the maxim. If it feels good to do it, especially if you're usually risk averse and have little to show for your conservative ways, always keeping your paws close to your chest. If no one will be hurt, following that feeling of being smitten does not necessarily mean you'll be bitten. Just be clear in your communication about your intentions and don't promise anything you'll regret down the road, especially if the road turns out to be a blind alley. And whatever you're buying into, make sure the investment has some chance of yielding returns to you and the other parties concerned.